Hello, my name is Christy Duncan, and I am representing Nut Cheerios. My teammates are Ryan Budden, Paula Jernigan, and Jeremiah Stark. I believe we each learned quite a bit from this experience. Our lessons learned involved some big ideas, as well as a few smaller intervening steps. Our first big lesson was realizing that we had underestimated the relationship between cost and production volume. As you can see from this simple chart, volume produced has a direct effect on overall cost. We initially invested in a capacity increase to 25,000 units per day, and a setup change time decreased to 6 hours. We discovered by round 2 that Team T had invested quite a bit more than we had, upwards to $7 million to have capacity increases up to 40,000 units per day. And at that time, we decided against increasing to match them, since at that point, we were the second highest investors in capacity in our market. Also, other leading teams' success did not seem to rely completely on capacity increases, and we mistakenly thought that Team T was simply meeting demand better and did not realize the implications this would have on cost. However, it became clear by round 5 that other teams had discovered the necessity to increase capacity and had began investing heavily. We invested more in capacity in rounds 3, 6, and 7. And by the end of the simulation, we had increased our capacity to 46,000 units per day. Despite these investments, we were unable to catch up with the leading team's capacities, and as a result, could not compete with their lower prices. From this experience, we learned firsthand how big of an impact production volume has on overall cost, and therefore the pricing for finished products. Also, we realized that we underestimated the potential in the first 2 rounds to take advantage of market share and how that would diminish quickly once market supply exceeded market demand in the later rounds. By not increasing capacity sooner, we missed out on a lot of potential revenue in the first 2 rounds. I believe these 2 miscalculations involving capacity were largely unrecoverable and seated us firmly in the 5th to 6th place throughout the rest of the simulation. Another big idea that we did not fully appreciate until later in the simulation was the relationship between cost and production efficiency. As a team, we had agreed to not sell below cost, although miscalculations in regards to actual versus expected production efficiency often led to miscalculations in our overall cost for products, and as a result, our pricing was faulty. While we agreed to keep our production efficiency high at around 90%, in actual practice, it was often closer to 72%. Disappointing revenue was most pronounced in rounds 5 and 7. Specifically, during these rounds, we often sold close to or below cost. We also learned that there were several small steps that could have been taken to affect overall cost. Given more time, we believe these smaller ideas might have had high potential returns. First, monitor other teams' inventory and import. We realized that we were failing to watch some important aspects in the data, namely monitoring our competition's finished stock levels. This allowed us to focus on holes in the market and aggressively target and market those specific products that were out of stock for other companies. Minimizing storage costs. We also realized later in the simulation that our storage costs were becoming prohibitive, and that it would have been beneficial to forecast for a half a round or less at a time to reduce the amount of raw materials sitting in inventory at any one point in time. Buying low. We were able to implement this strategy. However, with more practice, we could capitalize on this procedure quite a bit more. And reducing raw material costs. We had planned to reduce the amount of expensive raw materials in our recipe, and as a result, reduce the amount of raw material costs. Specifically for strawberry muesli, we held most of the market for this product throughout the simulation, and we speculated that we could save on costs while not alienating our customers due to this dominance. Unfortunately, we were unable to execute this plan due to excess of inventory. This is the end of my presentation. If you have any questions, please let me know.